Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to Nature Obscura, a podcast where nature and the supernatural collide. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Grace. Each week, we share spooky happenings from the great outdoors. From cryptids to curses, ghosts to witches, and everything in between.
Now, while we love a haunted house or a scary hospital story, that's not what we're here for. We're taking you around the globe to explore where nature and the supernatural intersect.
At the beginning of each episode, we'll briefly share any spooky or nature encounters we've had over the past week before diving into some natural history and background, and then the main story.
So grab your flashlight. And we hope you remember your driver's training from last week where you learned to drive on the left side of the road because we're sticking in the UK, heading to Wales this week.
Did you know that the flag of Wales is a dragon?
I did not. I know nothing about Wales.
Do you have anything naturey or spooky?
I think I might have already said it at the concert, but we went to a concert last week and we were on a slope. I was wearing Crocs, of course, no handle, couldn't put that in sports mode. So I took off my Crocs and I was just like had my socks on in the grass and it was really nice just like standing in the grass. I felt very connected with the earth. Felt like a spiritual experience. It was awesome.
Yeah. That music was amazing, and it also kind of put me into a trance, but I, at this moment, can't remember what I was thinking about. I was just kind of hanging out because I didn't know any of the words. I didn't know what they were saying.
I'm
Um,
wondering if it was because we were on the lawn. I'm wondering if maybe that's why the audio but I was trying to remember too, like, thinking back, like, what song was playing? Because even the song that was playing, I was like, "Holy crap." It was matching what was going on in my head, but, like, I was trying to, like, sort through their songs a couple days later, being like, "What song was this?" And I just could not find it, but I was just like, "Man, someone stood on this spot, like, 1,000 years ago, and someone's gonna be standing right here in another 1,000 years." Basically,
that
life's short, and it's okay.
mhm. That is a really fun topic to dive into. I was just thinking that earlier today, actually, too, because I've been naming my trees outside, like, oh, that's Zatara's tree, this is my daughter's tree, and just like fun little things. And I also think that I'm like, I wonder if anyone else has named this tree, have people said thank you to this tree before, like, because the trees have to be at least 75 plus years old. And my daughter and I, we always say thank you to the trees.
That's
So it is
cute.
interesting.
I haven't named any of our trees, but I do like looking at the trees and imagining what it was like when they were young and that sort of thing, and also it's really amazing when you're, like, when you're going to a natural area and the world is completely crazy and chaotic, there might be some really insane events happening, in the world, and then you're going to this spot, and the tree is just where it's always been, like, whether that's, like, near a marsh or an orchard, it's just, like, it's just there, and it's unchanging even if everything else is changing.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Trees, love them.
Trees, man.
Gotta
Yeah, I've
have
been
more.
teaching I've been teaching the baby about trees, and so I'm constantly staring at trees. I lift my hand up, "Tree." And we just
She's
look at the tree.
aw. She's gonna start being able to ID 'em.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the daycare lady says that she stares out the window saying "tree." Yeah.
Stop. That's so cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything what have you been up to the past week?
Pretty much just working and relaxing on the weekends, trying to do some little stuff in the house before the birthday party, but something really cool is today I got to go thrifting. I scored this book, and I'm gonna show you. It was just sitting there out in the open, like, and I saw people pass it, and it's huge book. It's a huge book,
Whoa.
and it's the John James Audubon for the Birds of America.
Whoa, that's huge. That looks like it weighs 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's so heavy, and I opened it, it's all of the artwork, and it's 2 volumes. You're never gonna guess what price I got this for.
$10.
No, it was $2.75.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I know, it's beautiful. It's like I love to collect big bird books like this, just bird books in general, and this is just fantastic. I was so excited. Sometimes can't stop thinking about how did you know the fact that, like, he would pose dead birds for some of his photos? Yeah.
What?
He would pose them with, like, wires, like, that he'd put in their bodies to manipulate them into a pose so he could draw them, paint them.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's like I'm looking at some of these pictures, I'm like, "I wonder which one that is. Is this bird alive?" So, very
I
interesting.
never knew that.
Mhm.
It's really
Yeah,
weird.
it's a crazy fact. And, of course, the whole Audubon thing is weird.
There's trees in the country of Wales, and that is where we're heading to today. We are talking about the Haberfield Triangle, which might be a little familiar. We did the Alaska Triangle a couple episodes back, but this spot couldn't be more different, with this focus being on several UFO sightings by schoolboys. We have lots of drawings and lots of witness testimony to discuss.
On the western edge of Wales lies Broad Haven, a tiny, remote coastal village that serves as a seaside escape on the Atlantic. It's a wild, dramatic landscape of towering sea cliffs and rolling coastlines, known for its archaeology, history, geology, unique habitats, and wildlife. The area exhibits a rich variety of rock types and striking structural features: natural arches, sea caves, complex rock folding, and dramatic coastal formations. Most notable are the Elegig stacks, which are two massive, detached pillars of limestone rising from the sea that become important seabird nesting sites each spring. Broadhaven sits entirely within the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. Established in 1952, the park covers about 629 square kilometers, or 243 square miles, and is one of three national parks in Wales. It has national and international significance for nature, conservation, and heritage, encompassing 7 special areas of conservation, a marine nature reserve, 6 national nature reserves, and 75 sites of special scientific interest, as well as many historic and archaeological sites. Inland, the park gives way to the moorlands of the Preseli Hills and the deeply wooded Guan Valley. Activities include hiking, stargazing, surfing, coast-steering, which is exploring and climbing along the rocky shores, which is also like cliff jumping into the water, and it looks like super dangerous, but people do it. And of course, bird watching. So, of course, I want to go there. Sounds amazing. Within the park, native animals and plants are highly specialized for their habitats. Seashore species tolerate harsh saltwater conditions, heathland species thrive in poor acidic soils, and woodland species are adapted to life in dense shade. Coastal heathlands support rare birds such as choughs, skylarks, and stonechats, which are pictured here. Have you ever seen those birds, Marissa? Not seen them, but like, have you ever seen pictures of these birds?
Maybe the skylarks and stonechats, but I've never heard of a chuck.
I know, it's such a cool it looks like a raven with the beak of, like, some kind of sandpiper or, like an oyster catcher, but smaller. I don't know what kind.
It's starling slash raven slash shorebird. It's
Yours
weird.
your explanation was so much better. Yes. Very, very weird. I love it, though. I love the name Chuffs, and I did
Yeah.
look that up. That was a weird one. Like, coughs? That can't be right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known how to pronounce that.
There's a lot of bats and wildflowers like the sea campion, kidney vetch, and foxglove. Very beautiful. Just think like a cottage kind of flowers. One of the rarest small mammals is the hazel dormouse, a nocturnal orange-brown mouse with a bushy tail that lives in pockets of ancient deciduous woodland in northern Pembrokeshire, spending much of its life high in the branches. And Marissa, I know I added photos of literally everything else in this episode, but stop what you're doing. Look up the picture of the hazel dormouse.
Oh, wow. He's everything you'd hope for in a mouse.
Yeah. Along the coast, Atlantic gray seals use these protected shores to give birth, and dolphins and porpoises are regularly seen playing in the waves. Pembrokeshire's nutrient rich waters also attract spectacular visitors, including basking sharks, orcas, blue sharks, sunfish, turtles, Rizzo's dolphins, and various jellyfish species. To safeguard this delicate environment and preserve the biodiversity, targeted conservation measures, legal protections, and strict management are enforced. Measures include restricting visitor numbers on certain offshore islands during spring and summer to protect nesting seabirds, while with local farmers to alter grass cutting schedules so wildflowers can seed and ground nesting birds like skylarks can rear young. Whether you come for the history or the wildlife, Wales is a beautiful place for adventure, discovery, and mystery.
Further inland, in February 1977 in Broad Haven, a group of school children spotted something spectacular during an otherwise normal day of recess on the playground. What they saw not just once, but 3 times. At least 450 people saw unexplained phenomena and inhuman beings, sparking decades of investigation and discussion. It started in a field just beyond the playground of an elementary school. All the children had seen a flying saucer. One kid, David Davies, which really feels like a made up name, but we're going to roll with it, stayed inside during recess, and he disregarded the UFO sightings as ridiculous and untrue. He also might have felt bummed about missing out on everyone else's sighting of this UFO, but he's like, these kids were making things up, trying to get him riled up. Annoyed, he walked on his way home from school and he decided to take a look for himself in the field where they saw the supposed UFO. When there, he saw a saucer, cigar shaped UFO just above the field, like his classmates described. And then I have a drawing that David drew as a child of what he saw.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious spaceship. It's like the perfect side view, close side view of a spaceship. There's some trees. Yeah, it's pretty accurate, I'd say.
It's a standard UFO. Imagine a UFO in your head, and it's what these kids saw and drew. So the students, of course, went home and told their parents after school. One of the parents just so happened to be a close family friend of Randall Jones Pugh, lead researcher of the British UFO investigation group and a former vet.
Sometimes
That's
it's all about who
convenient.
you know. Yeah.
Talk about a connection. Pugh quickly came to the area. The event had happened Friday afternoon, and by the time Monday rolled around and the kids were back in school, everything was crazy. There was a media frenzy that followed, and police investigating and interviewing the young students who had seen the saucers. During the mid to late 70s, UFOs and alien popularity were booming, from movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, just general curiosity, and that you also had the Cold War with Russia. So everyone was just on edge and freaked out by UFOs and aliens, and maybe fascinated as well. So, UFOs and aliens were often described as a form of escapism at the time for one of the students who had witnessed the saucer. The headmaster of the school separated all the students who had witnessed the saucer and told them to write an account and draw what they saw. And they did this all separately to avoid anyone from copying off one another in case this was some sort of elaborate, widespread hoax. The headmaster, Ralph Lewin, was noticeably astonished by the similarity of the drawings and confirmed their veracity to the media. In total, 16 schoolboys saw the craft and described it as follows: a red light flashing on top of a gray metal dome, saucer shaped craft, a door with a runway, and lots of windows around the top of the craft. And that's just a general combined summary of what everyone saw. Again, picturesque UFO. A couple of students, however, not only saw a UFO, but featureless beings walking alongside the craft. And here is actually a news article from the time with all the boys proudly showing their UFO drawings in a local newspaper.
Yeah, those honestly, those are really good pictures. Like, some of those are better drawings than what I could have done.
Definitely, like, I could
Bottom
not
left
have done
one?
that, but it's good.
Yeah, like, the trees? I can't even draw a tree that good. Even, like
Mm-mm.
okay, so the pictures show that it's on, like, on the ground, sitting on the ground. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it had landed in the field.
Gotcha. Okay. Now this one up top, top left, it shows one ship and then a bunch of ships around it. Was he just that one was just an exaggeration, probably.
I think that one might have just been having fun. Like, it even looked like they did some arts and crafts, they cut out, like, tin foil underneath. Doesn't that look
Yeah.
multimedia?
Yeah, it does.
That kid went to art school.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. They framed that.
And then it looks like a couple of the, drawings, so just 2 out of the 16 claim to have seen featureless beings outside of the saucer, and it looks like there's a couple drawings of that as well.
I hate that. It's
Not a
just
fan.
featureless beings.
So, yes, this event, super crazy, but there was still a little bit of disbelief about what actually happened. Once other residents of the town started seeing a similar unidentified aircraft. So, following this first incident in April of that same year, so 1977, Rosa Granville in Haverfordwest called the local MP to report that she had seen something unidentifiable land outside of the local hotel. This hotel had a bad rep. No murders or anything like that, but it was already supposedly haunted. So it was kind of a thing where the owners didn't wanna bring too much attention to this because the hotel was already having a rough time because people thought it was haunted. But Rosa apparently saw a bright, pulsating light coming through the window while she was in bed. She was looking out from the window, at the light, and it was so bright she could barely open her eyes. As her eyes adjusted, she realized that she had seen 2 figures come out of the light. They had very long limbs, unsteady gaits, and were featureless. The lady, naturally, shouted at them, "What do you want?" She was concerned about her nearby chickens on the ground, so she was screaming at the aliens. Valid. I would be too. We were just talking about my chickens.
Yeah, get away from my chickens.
"What do you want? Get away from my chickens. They're not for sale." So, from there, after she had yelled at them, she felt an enormous heat radiate from that saucer when it suddenly shot off and upward at an inhumanly fast speed. The saucer had actually left a mark that had shown where it had landed. The owners of the hotel went and showed the daughter the mark of where the saucer was. It had literally singed the grass from rusting on the ground.
I mean, that's proof right there.
Right, especially if it's their hotel, they're not wanting to bring any more bad press, so to speak, to this spot.
So why would they lie?
Right. So, we have the school children's encounter, now we have the hotel owners' encounters. The local police department took this seriously, and they actually elevated this encounter to the Ministry of Defense, who then ran it towards the public communications specialist of the Air Force Base, and he visited Rosa Granville. And at the time, he said that there was no evidence of a UFO visit. Did you not see the singed grass? So that was frustrating for the hotel owners. He then forwarded his findings, or lack thereof, to the Ministry of Defense, where he wrote, quote, "I'm unable to offer any explanation other than above. But should a UFO arrive at RAF Broady, we will charge normal landing fees and inform you immediately." End quote.
Okay.
Like, they're more concerned about aircraft just landing illegally than it being an alien. It's
I
very
wonder
strange.
that if it's one of those situations, kind of like we've seen in the past, where they're trying to de-escalate things, like public facing, they can't actually say that, "Yeah, there were aliens here," like, something suspicious. They have to kind of de-escalate and be like, "No, there's nothing here. Didn't find anything, no evidence."
Well, I think it has to be that because even though he said he didn't find anything, he forwarded that information to the satellite, like, Royal Air Force Base. He then made sure to tell Rosa Granville not to speak about the incident to others.
That's how you know.
How are you going to, on one hand, say nothing happened, but then tell someone not to talk about it?
That would make me wanna talk about it more.
Exactly. First, they come for my chickens, and then they're trying to cover it up. It's ridiculous. So, the subsequent encounters took place in April and May of that same year on the Combs farm. So, it's the Combs family farm. Looking out into the field, a man noticed a glow rising from the field, and within that glow was an upside down saucer. At the same
How does he
time,
know it's upside down if it's a saucer?
I imagine, you know how we keep seeing the perfectly drawn saucers?
Yeah, and
Where
usually has,
it's
like, a
the
little thing
little
on top.
dome up top, and I'm imagining the dome is on the bottom.
Okay. Okay, okay, that checks out, thank you.
I'm not sure though, like, that could I'm just going along for the ride with him. I don't know. So, at the same time he saw this upside down saucer, he heard and saw movement all along the hedge of the field, where he saw a being step out. It was described as very tall, about 6 feet, with a silver suit and motorcycle visor. It was very dark with no features. The creature was about 150 feet away, and he immediately knew it was not human. The being began to walk toward him and frightened the man. So he ran away, understandable. And after he got further away from the creature, he looked back to see it there, staring after him.
God, I have goosebumps.
I think they're the motorcycle, like the motorcycle helmet with the visor in front. That could be pretty futuristic, alien clothing situation.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like sunglasses because they always say aliens have big black eyes. So
Yeah,
it's like
maybe.
there's just too much light coming in. They gotta have sunglasses.
That's true. So he came back the next day to search the area and discovered abnormally large footprints in the soft mud. Apparently, after speaking with his aunt, she had seen a similar giant being just a week or so prior. So there's multiple family members within this Combe family and the farm's property seeing these strange, giant, alien-like beings.
May I just interject? I've never once thought of alien feet until now. Do you think they have toes?
I imagine 2 long toes, like, I imagine the hands with, like, the balls at the end where they're, like, round.
Yeah. I mean, what are the odds that they would have 5 toes like us? Like, I wanna see what footprint they saw.
I do too, I wish there was photos of it. So, yet another member of the family, Pauline Combs, came forward a few days after all of this came to light and announced that when she was driving down a dirt road near the farm's property, her and her 3 children saw a football shaped UFO, and it was actually following alongside her. And it might have even caused her car to stop working. So while this had happened, it actually, her car stalled out unexplainably. The Combs family cows also all mysteriously disappeared and reappeared at another farm.
Are you serious?
Yes.
They were totally gonna steal her chickens.
Yeah, they were trying to steal the chickens. So and it's weird that they didn't completely steal the cows. It's just they have 120 cows on their farm, and then all 120 cows just magically ended up at a nearby farm, but no one knows how they got there.
You know what? I can see it now. They, like, abduct the cows, they're doing research, and then just because of, like, bad management, they put the cows in the wrong farm, and they're like, "Oh, man, we messed up. That's my bad. You know, I'll do better next time." Um, It's like this whole thing.
They're like, a farm's a farm. They're still getting the hang of things. So, speaking of things disappearing and reappearing, we've been talking a lot about aliens, but apparently in this area, fairies often cause things to appear and disappear and are very mysterious. Do they cause UFO like things to happen? That seems a little more far-fetched, but I mean, why not?
I would say I believe in aliens more than fairies, but yeah, I don't know much about this culture and fairies.
Fairies transporting 120 cows? Or aliens? Or did the cows just cross the road? Doubt it.
Yeah, without anyone noticing. Like, when I was young, some of our cows would escape or, like, a neighbor's cows would escape, and it's always, like, a big thing. Like, neighbors are
Really?
calling each other, "Oh, yeah," like, "Oh, there's a cow out, whose is it?"
You actually offer a really good perspective into this. If so you're saying that it probably really is unlikely that they just all moved down, like, the road to a different farm
Yeah, people
without
would have
the farmer.
noticed that. There would be
Okay.
footprints, there'd be poop everywhere.
True. True. They didn't say anything about the poop. Was there poop along the path to the other? Hmm, okay.
Yep, and there'd be stray cows too, they're not all gonna go to the same spot.
So, man, this family, the Combs, can just not get a break. It's about 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. They probably woke up at 4 a.m. to do all their chores on the farm, and they're relaxing, watching some TV, when they notice something silver at the window. They look a little closer and see around an 8-foot tall, silver like figure whose head was peering just below the top of the window. No facial features. So just imagine something so tall that it's like ducking down, looking in.
It'd be so
Terrifying.
shocking. Ugh.
And especially broad daylight, 10 a.m. We're not talking about night. That's
Yeah.
very strange. So the Combs were at a loss for what to do. They called the police. Sergeant Ernie came out, and he actually stated that in his 26 years of service, that this was the most frightened family he had ever come across.
That's so sad.
Which is really saying something. I mean, they deal with murder, and I feel like a local, well-established farm family isn't gonna be trying to do some sort of hoax. That's just
Yeah.
not
Why would
beneficial for
you
them. They don't have the time for that.
Yeah, why would you escalate to calling the police if you don't actually believe what you're saying to them?
Exactly. Where the hotel was at, they also had some strange interactions with a saucer. They saw some weird beings. They had another strange encounter. Two men ran the doorbell of the front of the hotel. They looked like twins. They had pale complexions, and their skin looked like it was almost made of wax. They were visiting because they actually wanted to inquire about the encounter that the hotel owners had. So,
I hate this.
apparently not only were they visiting the hotel, they also then went and visited the Combs family farm at the exact same time.
Are Men in Black aliens?
Was it aliens trying to do a white chick situation where they were pretending to be human?
That's too funny. That's too good.
They
They
should
weren't doing a
actually,
very good job.
that'd be a good movie. That's a good movie idea, like white chicks, but it's aliens trying to be humans.
And people somehow believe them,
Yes, I
even
like
when it's
that.
obvious. Oh, it's so good.
After this event, they both had these mysterious waxy twins coming up, which, to be honest, no offense if you're a twin listening to this, so I think that's kind of statistically more rare. Twins in of itself are kind of spooky, especially if they're dressed the same. Tenfold if they're like looking like wax. Later on, the mother and daughter at the hotel were sitting in the hotel's restaurant after this encounter with the twins, and they saw a silver disc outside that began to pulsate in orange light. Rosa, the woman that had originally spotted the saucer and the owner of the hotel, immediately called Mrs. Combs, and they confirmed that they could see it too. So, from the Combs view, they could actually see it go to a famous island. They're starting to think that this island, which is essentially a giant rock, is its home base. And apparently, they even saw that island rock face open up like a door,
No.
and the saucer disappeared into it.
But why would they let someone see them open that? You know what I mean? I feel like aliens would be smarter than that. At least I would hope.
Bad management, that's what it had to come down to.
Yeah.
They had their amateurs on this, first dropping off the cows at the wrong farm.
I just love humanizing aliens in a way, especially after just I don't know, hearing that one lady at the conference talk about how there were, like, different types and, like,
Mhm.
different levels, and it's like, yeah, it's like management. It's like politics.
Are they really that different from us?
Exactly. Sometimes little grunts make mistakes, you know? Middle management, they make mistakes.
Nobody's perfect,
Mhm.
including aliens. So, yeah, they did this in broad daylight, probably big mix up on their end. They probably got in real big trouble by their bosses. And then a lot more people in the area just started to see these creatures. That is when a wife of the public communications specialist, so the same specialist from the Air Force Base, made a keen observation that the fire suits that they wear at their local oil refinery look a whole heck of a lot like what people were describing as a man in a spacesuit.
Oh.
It wouldn't be surprising if someone got a hold of a suit and was trying to mess with people, right?
Mhm. Oh, yeah, I'm sure hoaxes like that happen.
Towards the end of all these encounters, there had been over 450 sightings. These were all reported to the Ministry of Defense, and 450 sightings is a lot, and it's not really possible for them to investigate each one. So, pressure on the Ministry of Defense kept actually rising because they were moving into 1978. So the first one was February 1977, and then it continued into early 1978. So there was increased sightings, still no answers. The media was really grabbing hold of it and just pointing out the Ministry of Defense's lack of resolution to what was going on. The witnesses described being ridiculed and made to feel crazy or like they were making it up. The 10-year-old kids, actually, the ones that had reported seeing it initially, came onto this documentary as adults and explained, why would they want to be in the spotlight? The students were getting bullied, even physically attacked by other students.
Oh, that's so sad.
And in one, clip because, again, media was going insane. They were coming, they were interviewing the schoolboys. In one of the videos, you can see the kid recounting his experience with a black eye from being beaten up.
Poor
They
kid.
Yeah, like, the kids were wanting him to say he was lying, and he wasn't lying, he was telling his truth. And furthermore, kinda going back to those hotel owners, why would they want anything spooky related to their already haunted hotel?
Mhm.
Just doesn't make sense. I don't think there was quite the market that there is today, and I feel like it's still a small market of places being proud to be haunted, like, it's a kind of attraction in a way. That was not the case in the '70s.
Mhm. Man, but those poor people must have just been kind of living on edge for that whole time.
An astrophysicist later comes in, does some reviewing of these cases, and talks about what his thoughts are on, this case, the Haverfield Triangle. This guy was basically saying, as scientists, they've been repeatedly told, extraterrestrial theories are ridiculous and nonsense. And that's been a saying thing since it first kind of came into fruition a little bit more in the 1940s. So that's why so few scientists talk about it or even actually try and study it. Because as soon as you start talking about aliens, extraterrestrials, anything like that, you're automatically not taken as seriously and it can impact your career. So as a result, they estimate that there's actually only around 15 scientific experts in the world that actually are legitimately studying aliens, the extraterrestrial theory that we know of. I am sure there might be more stuff going on with the government behind the scenes that maybe they are taking it a little more seriously, but they just don't want us to know about that. So, we've talked about this in past episodes, but basically, the aircraft was seen going to that island. So, like you mentioned, Wales is beautiful coastal area, there's lots of water, and apparently, as we have found out, we both hypothesized and then were validated, UFO or UAP are often associated with water, either going in or out of, or being seen underwater. Oceans are great places to live, especially if you're going planet to planet. Atmospheres are not very stable from their different temperatures to different pressures, but oceans, however, are going to be within the range of the liquid water temperature, which is just not as big of a range as what any atmosphere you could face would be. So, the only difference from going to one ocean on another planet to a different ocean on a different planet would be the trace chemicals of whatever is native to that planet.
Oh.
This astrophysicist was like, this makes perfect sense. It would be easy for them to do this. And that's probably why they like being underwater so much because it's easier for them to survive longer underwater because it's something they're more familiar with than surviving in our atmosphere, which is foreign to them, and probably why they're wearing those crazy spacesuits.
Oh, that would make sense. I like this theory.
I kinda liked it too. Others in the years since, again, we got the naysayers. They say that since the government department investigated the sightings, they actually speculate a practical joker may have been at work. So, like we mentioned, the fire suit, or that the school children could have confused a sewage tank with a UFO.
They have to say that stuff.
And in more recent years, the government again was saying, oh, actually, it wasn't the sewage tank. It wasn't a prank. Maybe it was actually that they were seeing military personnel from the US. For some reason, we were dabbling over there. Um, and they just got confused.
The kids are just confused.
A former US Navyman said that the figure that people encountered was just a US military personnel wearing a standard uniform that was fireproof. And that the UFOs the kids saw were the new US Harrier jets flying over. That just doesn't make sense to me. It feels like a last-ditch effort to try and persuade the public that this wasn't something alien. Are they dressing themselves up in wax and going to
Right.
people's doors and transporting people's cows?
We have to go do something weird now. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. It's aliens.
It's
And
aliens.
a government cover up. So why are they trying to trick children?
I don't know. Poor kid got a black eye. Just let him, like, tell his truth.
Just like validate him, maybe, you know? It's like,
For
wouldn't it be
real.
so nice if our governments could just validate us?
Yeah. Validate us, provide free healthcare. Like, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Crazy. Um, so with over 450 sightings in such a small area of an already small country, and with sightings from both children to grown adults, it just seems really unlikely that this is all a hoax or all fake. So that's all I got. It's just a big head scratcher, this one. Okay, real quick though, this just reminded me. I meant to do this as my spooky thing of the week. You remember how earlier I was like, I had so many things for the podcast, then I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know how I talked about the dark triangle of Alaska, that dark triangle under Alaska?
The pyramid.
Yes, the pyramid. Thank you. I don't know what happened, but I stumbled upon something very crazy on the internet about this pyramid on YouTube, and I think I accidentally stumbled into a cult's YouTube channel, and it's
Explain
about the
everything.
pyramid and harnessing its energies, and it was set to, like, spooky music. I'll send you the, like, link to the YouTube. I didn't even watch all of it because it was just so weird. It says a message from the Earth Alliance. So the Alliance is being asked to help reactivate the pyramid through conscious connection. You don't need to be physically present. In the meditation, visualization, and intention, you can connect and tune in to the Earth's crystalline grid. Let it pulse beneath you. Visualize the pyramid, a mass obsidian-like material deep beneath Alaska's ground.
Real question though, did you look them up?
I didn't.
I just did. And there's a whole website, and it's really
Oh, you looked into
weird.
it? It reminds me of, that cult where they, like, had the woman's dead body for, like, 6 months and it was mummified. Did you watch that true
No.
crime documentary? She called
No.
herself Mother God, and they did, like, YouTube channel and streaming and this and that, and so they thought she was gonna come back to life or something, so they created, like, a shrine of her mummified body, but this
I
is
would love
exactly
to
what
learn
the
more about
group
that.
reminds me of, our galactic families. Like, this is scary, dude.
I'm seeing posts from 2024, but oh, wait, this one was 5 hours ago, shit. The time is now. The ancient decree was stolen and is now returned. What? What's that? I mean, I think the art is cool.
Yeah, I've just never stumbled upon one of these groups in real time. I only ever hear about the true crime documentary after the fact, but
I
we'll
know.
see. It looks like it's a pretty small group.
That's fun. Be fun to have a podcast about cults.
There are some like cult podcasts, but have you listened to Trust Me? That's a good one. So actually both hosts
I'll look it up.
were in cults growing up. So one was part of the 2 by 2s and the other was part of like a fundamentalist Mormon cult, and obviously they escaped the cult, and each week they interview different people who have a connection to a cult. And you learn,
Wow.
like, about the cult, how they got out, and it's, like, really just kind of exploring how anyone could end up in a cult. Like, you think you're
Mm,
not
yeah.
immune to it, but, like, and it can happen to anyone.
Anyone can get into a cult and
You're always like, "It wouldn't be
on.
me," but it could be.
I'd like to see them try. Not really,
Yeah.
but, like, I wonder, what it would take. Birding, that's a cult.
There you go.
'Cause it doesn't start out as crazy always, it
No, it's
starts out
always the
normal.
good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like hell, they probably could make a birding cult. It's like they loop you into, like, all these cool birding trips, and then it's expenses all paid, and then all of a sudden, like, they're, like, withholding sleep and food, and it makes you, like, kind of insane, and then you could become completely dependent on them.
Yeah, and then we're just gonna, like, isolate ourselves in the rainforest or something, and honestly, that sounds nice. All of it still.
And see,
But
they got you. And then all of a sudden, you guys are creating your own bird classification system, and it's just the cult leader's, like, name, but it's just, like, his name for all the birds. This is Samuel's robin. This is Samuel's cardinal.
That's so funny.
That'd be crazy. Cults. They're scary.
Mhm. Even the bird ones.
That's true. Do you wanna do the scare scale?
Sure. So, I'm going to do the scare scale for if I saw an alien peeking in my window at 10 a.m. So, 1 would be, "Oh, that's not really that scary. That's probably an alien going on his way." 5, a good start. Wait, no. 5 is a good startle. You jump, but you're like, "Oh, man, that one got me." It sticks with you for a little bit, but, it's a really great story. You get to tell all your friends. You get excited, but 10 is, "Holy crap, that is the scariest thing ever." You're calling the cops, you're telling everyone you know, you're in hysterics, and it's all you can think about for the rest of your life.
10. It's
Yeah,
scary. It's just the idea of it, like, crouching to look in is just disgusting.
and at
That makes it
10,
worse.
because
Yeah.
you figure, like, you're safe at 10 a.m., you're safe from, like, the demons, the ghosts, the aliens, but no, game over.
Exactly, like, at night, I think I would be less scared because I could say, "Oh, my mind was playing tricks on me, blah, blah, blah." Not at 10 in the morning, it's perfectly clear what you're seeing, and what you're seeing is something horrifying. No thanks.
And then you have to go your whole day knowing, like, that's how you started your day, like, that's what you saw. You
Yes!
can't just, like, go to sleep like, "Yeah, okay, I'll just sleep it off, like, that was weird, but whatever."
I wanna know what they did the rest of the day. Like, what was the rest of their day like?
Yeah.
Would you have left the house? Would you have not left the house?
That's a really great question. I think I would've taken shelter in my bathroom with all of my
Yeah,
animals, my whole family, like, I would've called the cops too. I would've been terrified, 10 for me as well.
I agree. I feel like I would have hid out, like, called the cops, hid out for, like, several hours, but I probably by the time, like, the evening rolled around, I feel like I would have, like, spent the night somewhere else.
Yeah,
I think I'd be too scared. Cause why was he looking in? What did they want? More cows? Did they not realize they were only in the pastures? I don't
right.
know.
This is the group of aliens who are tasked with farm animals. They couldn't get the chickens, so they had to go for the cows, and yeah, maybe they were checking inside, like, "Hey, maybe the chickens live in here," but they couldn't find any.
What if they were trying so hard and they, like, just kept messing up and they were trying to do their best, and then the whole time they hear back from upper management that they were actually supposed to do studies on whales, not in whales, and then they're just so pissed.
Marissa, that is the funniest thing.
They're like, "God damn it, you guys, we wanna know why they're so big."
It's
It's
like,
like,
"This
"We don't
whole
care about the
time."
humans."
The manager's like, "So, how was the whale?" "Oh, yeah, Wales was great, we got some chickens, or we saw some chickens, got some cow DNA." "No, but what about the whale?"
What
It's
about
like,
the whales?
What
Like,
do you
what
what
do
do
you
you
mean?
mean?"
They have a whole, like they get written up.
That's a lot of sightings in a short period of time.
It's pretty crazy. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Nature Obscura. We hope you enjoy the country of Wales as much as we hope you like the mammals that are whales. And that you liked this podcast episode. Don't forget to rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a follow on social media.
Mhm.
That'd be pretty cool too.
Stay obscure, Earthlings.
Transmission ending.